If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Open House Real Estate Network. My name is Zach, and today we are going to be talking with Kimberly Young about Cabin John, Maryland. She's been on the show twice before. We're super excited to have you, Kimberly. Thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me back.
What is something, like if you're thinking about Cabin John, like what's the overall feel? What do you like about it?
I would say the overall feel is just knowing your neighbors and having a really active social scene. So they have the Cabin John Citizens Association, which throws tons of events. So you're going to have a chicken and crab feast in September. You're going to have the 4th of July parade where you have your kids and families. They come down the towpath in MacArthur. They come to the community center and then they go ahead and read the Declaration of Independence. You're going to have a lot of different opportunities to get to know your neighbors throughout the year. It's also community service space, and so there'll be different cleanups, the local waterways. There'll also be opportunities to get to know your neighbors through block parties. So really it's a community where you can be as active as you want and really get to know who's next to you.
Wow. Okay. Well, it sounds really inviting. So it's looking a little bit bigger on the map than Glen Echo. I'm curious about the population.
It is. It's about 2,300 people, and it's composed of single-family homes, condos, and townhomes.
Okay, so there are townhome and condo options.
Yeah, there are. It's also unique too because it's the only city of Maryland that has single-family co-op. So we have a co-op in the community. So it's called Cabin John Gardens. So that's really unique too.
What's the median home price?
Around 1.3 million.
Okay, gotcha. And that is including the condos and the townhomes. Like, what would you find on the lower end?
Yeah, if you're looking for condos, it'd be about 300,000. If you're looking for townhouses, around 900,000. Just kind of depends on the features, and unit versus being in the middle, stuff like that.
Okay. And what are people doing for work? There's a few more people. Is it more diverse, or are they all lawyers? What's the deal?
Full population, full of different types of residents. So you do have, again, business owners. You also have people that are scholars. You have people that are artists. You have people that are teachers. Full variety of jobs.
Okay. And are they? I know that a lot of people work from home nowadays. I'm one of them. But for those that are commuting, where are they typically going, and how long does it take to get there?
Yeah, DC, they're heading into DC, so 15, 20 minutes. They might be heading into Tyson's area. So again, 15 minutes, maybe to Rockville or Gaithersburg, middle of Montgomery County, just kind of depends. But again, around 15, 20 minutes.
Gotcha. Well, that's not a bad commute at all. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so logistics aside, like I'm curious about the history. Is there like maybe one piece of history that's really unique to Cabin John that's worth talking about?
Yeah, the Union Arch Bridge is really unique. So if anybody knows about Cabin John, they know about the bridge. It's a single lane bridge connecting Cabin John to Bethesda, and it was formerly used as part of the aqueduct system, so taking water to DC. But it's beautiful. They did go ahead and incorporate a pedestrian-friendly aspect to it. So it does have the ability, you have the ability to walk over it or to bike over it, which is readily taken advantage of.
That's cool. That sounds like a cool thing to visit. So
yeah, and it's right near the local park. So you've got a park there, you've got a soccer field, you have basketball courts, and also tennis courts. So you might want to walk there, enjoy some recreation, and then walk over the bridge just to get some extra exercise in.
Yeah, and see the history. So
yeah, when there's beautiful placards there that explain a little bit more than what I want to do.
Yeah. Hey, that's cool. I'm curious about family life. So with with schools, I know that's a big reason why someone would move somewhere. What are like what's the school system, and what high schools do people need to look out for when doing their research?
Yeah, so the elementary school is Bannockburn, the middle school is Pyle, and the high school is Walt Whitman. Also the same as Glen Echo. So it is one of the top high schools in the US, and it's very popular. And so we do have residents that will move solely to be in the school district.
What do families do on like the weekends when they get some free time? I know you mentioned there's the parks down by the bridge. What are some other things that you'd find a family doing in their free
Yeah,
time?
you're going to find them on taking advantage of being close to Great Falls, so doing some hiking, bird watching. You'll also find people teaching their kids how to bike along the towpath.
Hmm.
So you'll see that. You'll see people running. You'll see people just taking advantage of getting outside and taking in everything that's so close by.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it's a really pretty area, so that's
Gorgeous.
that's a good
Tons
draw.
of trees. Tons of walking abilities. You also, if you're going to be going out on the weekend, you're going to find a lot of people taking advantage of the great restaurants we have. We've got two that really stand out, Sal's and Wild Tomato. They're owned by the same owner. Fish Taco is really popular. And there's a wonderful deli that I frequent far too much. It's called The Market on the Boulevard. Great sandwiches, great Korean dishes, great stuff. So while you're there, you might want to just run over to the post office, the Bethesda Co-op, or stop into the local spa salon.
Okay. So yeah, and you put a lot of emphasis on the food, so that's definitely good to keep in mind. Because I was going to ask you about a night out for like couples. Aside from the restaurants, is there anything in Cabin John or even within a half-hour drive that is worth talking about?
Well, I mean, you're set up to do a lot in the city. It's really easy to get into the city. It's, 15, 20 minutes if you're going to Northwest. Might be close to 30 if you're going to the Southwest waterfront, or maybe even 35, depending on the time. But you're right there. So you're going to have access to local concerts. You're going to have access to theater. You're going to have access to more restaurants. But if you just want to keep it local, keep it easy, just walk down. It's one of the great restaurants we have.
Cool. You mentioned those two restaurants that are owned by the same people that you really like. What cuisine is that?
Italian. Sal's is Italian cuisine, and then Wild Tomatoes is a little bit of a mixed cuisine.
So what about events? It's still not a big town by any means, but it's a little bit bigger than Glen Echo, smaller than Potomac. Like what are some of the events that stand out to you that Cabin John does every year?
Yeah, so we have a community center. So there are a lot that goes on there. There are classes for senior citizens. There's a small little gym attached there. You're also going to find a lot of Citizens Association events are held there too. So the Chicken and Crab Fest is going to be held there. It's going to be the meeting spot for the 4th of July parade when that wraps. So really, those are things that are happening within the community. There's also different fundraising events throughout the year. There's something normally near the holidays where you pick an item off of the wish tree. So there's a lot of different ways for people to meet up in the community, to fundraise for a larger good for the Citizens Association, but also to help out Montgomery County.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot it sounds like there's something for everyone, which is good.
There is.
And we've talked about Potomac and Glen Echo before. So when it comes to nature, I know there's a lot of like biking nearby. You go up north a little bit, do some rock climbing. Is there anything else that's worth mentioning in regards to like the outdoors?
I mean, yeah, it's the same stuff you're going to find in Potomac, you'll find in Glen Echo, you're going to find in Cabin John. But I think you'll find a community of outdoor enthusiasts. You're going to see people with kayaks on top of the roofs. You're going to see people running. You're going to see people like skateboarding. You're going to see people, just making the most of getting outside. And you're going to find that camaraderie with your other neighbors. So it's very easy to connect with other people that have similar interests and want to be outside on the weekends so they have free time.
Yeah, it's really cool. And if you don't connect with people outside, then of course there's the community events and the local restaurants too. So,
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well, Kimberly, thanks for coming on again. It's always great to have you. And thanks for teaching us about Cabin John and what it's like to live there.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.